Hey, I hope all is well. There's a couple things I want to talk to you about. I'm going to go ahead and prepare this coffee and we're going to talk soon. I'm making a cup of the Colombian coffee. Right now it's at 190 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm using a Hario V60 switch. I would say this is a bittersweet situation. This is about a 12-to-1 ratio that I did on the coffee. I don't think it really matters that much. And I think that's the thing that I really want to talk about. And I wonder if it's more so that I'm looking for something that's not there with this coffee. Let me explain real quick. What I mean by that is that a lot of times what I like to do is like I will take what somebody says to me, tasting notes from the importer, and that's how I would judge picking up a coffee. And then once I go through that process, you know, I get the coffee, I roast it different ways, different protocols that I have initially, and then I brew the coffee. And in this case, the biggest thing that I was really trying to find was sweetness. Like, can I find sweetness in coffee, in this coffee? Or can I find sweetness in coffee in general? Like, do all coffees have sweetness? That's the thing that I was really trying to get at. And I got frustrated as I kept going down this rabbit hole, roasting this coffee so many different ways. Light, medium, dark, fast, slow, different profiles like that. And then brewing it so many different ways. So many different temperature variations, espresso, Chemex. I think I even did a French press. It just wasn't doing it for me. The thing that I always mostly tasted was a grapefruity type of taste of coffee. And me personally, I don't like that. I don't like a coffee that tastes like grapefruit. Don't get me wrong. Grapefruit to me is extremely sweet. It's extremely versatile, especially compared to an orange and even a lemon, because it really does have those inherent flavors of sweetness and also acidity. But a lot of times I think when people talk about grapefruit, they're talking about the rind part of it too. How you have that bitter, lingering taste that's not really pleasing. It just doesn't quit. For one thing I did notice with my experiment, this saga, this journey, is that I was able to not necessarily find sweetness, but I was able to decrease the amount of acidity that this coffee naturally had. And the way that I did that was through brewing the coffee at a lower temperature, lot lower than what I'm used to. It was about 180 degrees. Right now I did 190 degrees, working on a single pour, even 2 pours. That's out of my comfort level. And I purposely didn't want to look at anything on YouTube of how people were doing different recipes. I didn't want to be swayed that way. I just wanted to try things that I wasn't doing inherently. I thought it was my brewing style. I thought that my brewing style was not bringing the best out of this coffee, meaning that it wasn't as balanced as it should be. I would say this coffee is a 80-20 on acidity to 20% sweetness level. And the sweetness is there. It's more like a chocolate type of sweetness, but not like a juicy like apple or ripeness in a fruit that you will get. And then I kept going on and I started talking down to this coffee like it was like a person or something. It's weird just me talking to you about this. You know, and realizing that, am I really going down this rabbit hole in a psychotic type of way? Am I not really truly enjoying this coffee for what it is? And that's the thing that I kind of pondered and thought about, and seeing if I was doing something wrong and if I was really getting something fulfilling out of this coffee. And I haven't. But I did learn a lot of things, as I talked about along the way, about pushing myself, challenging myself. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned in this experiment, and I've gone through this a couple of times, but now that I'm vocalizing my situation, is that coffee is what it is. Coffee has a personality. However, the thing about coffee that people do have over coffee is that people have personalities too. And we can actually change and manipulate our situations for whatever circumstance that we are in. But a lot of times with coffee, you can have different profiles, roasting profiles, you can have brewing profiles, you can do whatever you need to in order for you to try to get something different than what you did before. But coffee is coffee. that coffee is what it is. Whatever they did during harvesting, growing it, processing it, that's what that coffee is for that time period. And then the tricky thing about it is that when we actually drink the coffee and experience the coffee, the longer we hold on to those beans, the quality is not the same. It actually goes down. So what do we do about that? What are we really trying to do here? That's the thing that I'm really trying to understand. And I think the thing that I do understand is that I can't be so mad about this coffee. This coffee did present itself to me the way that is telling, that it is revealing, you know? It showed me who it was. So if it showed me who it was, then no matter if I was chasing sweetness, if it's not there, it's not there. And that's okay. So let's take a sip of this coffee. Let's talk about it and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Here's to this coffee. Probably one of the last times I bring this coffee up. This Colombian coffee, this Pic Bourbon. The acidity is tamed a little bit. It's not as pronounced. I do get the lingering grapefruity type of taste on the side of the palate. It's still there, then it dies down. 190 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, it's 85 degrees Celsius. I'm getting better at it. And the thing about this coffee, I don't know if I was just pissed and I just wanted to try one last resort to see if I can really taste something different, if I can really get that sweetness, is I had a majority of it was medium roast, but I did have a little bit left for light roast. I did have a little bit left for medium roast and also for dark roast. So I literally just combined all those together and mixed it through, and this is more so the best of both worlds of all three, you know? Which one did I prefer better, more? I did prefer slightly, to an extent, the dark roast. It didn't still have that sweetness that I was chasing or trying to find, but it did lose its character to an extent. The medium roast was just okay, which I'm surprised because I'm more of a medium roast type of person. That balance, you know, but this coffee, to the way it presents you, is that balance is 80-20. 80 acidity, then only, if you can find it, 20% depending on what you play around with, either the temperature or your brew method, or even your grind, or even whichever brew method that you use. Light roast was just light roast. It was what it is, and I don't know if it could get any better than that. It was one notey. That grapefruit really did come out. The most that I really got out of this experiment towards the sweetness area is in an espresso. I got that. It was cool, and I'm not getting that anymore. A lot of times when coffee cools down, I really start to enjoy it even more. This coffee right here, it does smell better than it tastes. When you smell it, it smells like Starburst, like 3 or 4 of the original Starburst, even tropical Starburst together. You just smell it, just engulfing it in your nostrils. That's what you look forward to a lot of times. You're like, okay, I can't wait to really taste that coffee. I can't really wait to experience the same thing that I smell. And you don't get that at all. You don't get that at all whatsoever. And it's a little disappointing, but again, it's something that I have to realize and tell myself, is that it's not the coffee's fault. It's not even the importers that told me that the coffee tastes like. The coffee is what it is. And I think that's the biggest lesson, and the biggest lesson that I get from this particular journey, you know? I was wondering what I was gonna learn from all of this. Seeing if I was gonna pick up something revolutionary. But I think the revolutionary part about all of this is that it is what it is. Of course, push yourself in the roasting area. Push yourself in the brewing techniques. Because I've learned a lot of things along the way that I'm gonna take along with my journey. And that brings me to the last point. What is the next thing that we're gonna do? How we're gonna keep pushing the journey of coffee together. I think what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna trust others, meaning that I may buy a bag or two from others, maybe to see if I can find that sweetness that I'm looking for, or just really just take it for what it is. I'm willing to go on the journey to see if I can taste something amazing. That's what I'm after, you know? That's what I'm trying to find here. And I think I have a good idea of direction of where I want to go. And I would love to bring you along in this journey. And it's going to be a good journey. So with that being said, I do have some more coffee left. unroasted and all that stuff. So let me know what you want to do with that. I don't think I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, but let's just see where this goes. I think what I may do, just for shits and giggles, is that I'll go ahead as a, you know, souvenir piece for myself, is that I'll probably freeze like a pound or so of the coffee and then revisit it at the end of the year. I think that'd be cool, and see what happens. But that's what I got for you. The Colombian Chasing Sweetness saga is complete, but our coffee journey is not. So on to the next thing. So talk to you later. Bye.